Alright, so while we're out here, I thought I would go over probably my 5 top baits for October. What I catch them on, what I usually catch them on, ways to throw them and stuff. So first up for me is definitely going to have to be a bladed jig of some sort. This Berkeley slobber knocker has really been doing well for me. It's got a little more vibration than the Z-Man chatterbaits, but it doesn't do as well in grass for me. I'm not able just to rip it through the grass like you can a chatterbait. Big key for me was switching out to this moderate action rod. That saved me a lot of lost fish. My hookup ratio, and not just my hookup ratio, getting them to the boat has been a lot better for me since switching out to this moderate action rod. It's a medium heavy power, but that moderate action just gives it a little more bend and allows you to play that fish a little bit better without pulling those hooks out of his mouth when he goes to jump or anything of that sort. So that's definitely something to look at if you're losing a lot of fish on a chatterbait bladed jig of any kind. Try switching that rod out to something with a little more play in it and see if that helps you out any. So number 2, I'm going to have to go with some sort of walking topwater. This 6 Sense Dogma has been a good one. I like that it's got the 3 treble hooks on it. Hookup ratio is pretty good on it. I'm just throwing that on straight braided line. Again, if I'm going with braided line on my topwaters and stuff, I tend to use a slower action rod, moderate, something like that, so I don't just rip those hooks out of that fish's mouth. If I go with too heavy of a rod or too fast of an action, I end up just pulling those hooks when I'm fishing braided line, and that braided line floats really well, so I just like to throw it. I don't like switching out to mono because I don't throw it that much, so I just throw it on one of these and keep it on that braided line. Next up, it's going to be a square bill of some sort. I like to throw one a little bit smaller than this usually, but I need to go buy some new ones. Fishing that square bill around these docks, around these laydowns, really bouncing it off this cover can really trigger those bites and get those reaction bites. So I highly recommend a square bill this time of year around these laydowns and docks. Next up, I'll have to go with just a jig of some sort. Throwing a jig in this cover around these docks. I always like to go with a beaver style bait on all my jigs. That's just the way I've always fished them, and well, I'll continue to fish it because it does well for me. Throwing that in some of these tight places where it's a little sketchy throwing it in there, that's where those fish live. So getting this jig in there and being able to pull those fish out of there, I make sure I pair it up with braided line so I can get those fish out of that cover quick and not give them a chance to get tied up around in there and break off or anything. So braided line, this is a heavy action Tatula XT. It's a 7.4 heavy power, I'm sorry, with a fast action, so I can feel those fish really well between this braided line and this rod. It's a really light rod, easy to sit and flip all day with, and I've got it paired up with a Tatula 100 reel as well, so it's a really good combo. I enjoy this pretty well. It's done good for me. And then, as much as I hate throwing it, I hate slowing down. Some sort of wacky worm, any kind of stick worm. You can Texas rig it, wacky rig it. So many different ways to do these stick worms and fish them effectively, but wacky rigging these stick worms and throwing them in these laydowns and docks and stuff of that sort. You can fish these things pretty weedless. You get the weedless hooks with the little grass guard on them, and they work pretty well. But when I can make myself slow down and throw something like this, it definitely will put more fish in the boat. But I struggle to make myself slow down and fish anything finessey. I even struggle fishing a jig because it is so much slower than just that cast and get that chatterbait across that limb or something. And then I'm going to throw one more in there that I love throwing, and when they start eating it, it's definitely a fun bite, is some sort of wake bait. And this is the 6 cent speed wake. This thing, you can throw it out and you can just absolutely burn it back to the boat, and it will not blow out. It'll swim true all the way back to the boat. I don't care how hard you're reeling this thing. It just does well every time. So I highly recommend this time of year watching out for that wake bait bite, because when they turn onto that, it's definitely a fun bite. They just absolutely crush that thing when they start eating it. So if you hadn't tried those, I highly recommend those 6 cent speed wakes. Alright, so I said I was going to do 5, but I might as well go over my whole arsenal. So what I've got out here and what I'm trying to locate these fish with. This is a Berkeley coal shad. So this thing, a lot like your mag draft, any of your soft plastic swim baits. It's got the honeycomb tail on this thing, and you can fish this thing at a lot of different speeds. It's not a specific retrieve you have to have like that mag draft. So I really like this thing. I enjoy fishing it better than that mag draft because you don't have to have that set speed that you're reeling it at. It's got a couple pockets in the belly for nail weight, so you can get down at different depths and stuff. But if you haven't checked these out, I highly recommend it. Those are really fun to throw, and it's a fun bite when they start feeding on those things. I know I said I was just going to do the 5, but figured I'd go ahead and throw in a couple extras because I've got them in the boat, and that's what I'm fishing on today. So hoping that wake bait bite picks up pretty soon, because that's a really fun one. When they hit that thing, they just explode on it. So after, you'll see them chasing it and just hammer that thing. So that's a fun one. All right, well, that'll wrap it up. I'm gonna get off the water and head on in for the day. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch these videos, and if there's anything else you'd like to see, let me know and I'll see what I can do about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you know when something new comes out. Hit that like button, dislike button. Let me know what you think about the videos. Let me know what some of your favorite fall baits are. Maybe something I've not tried that I can get out and try it next time I'm out. So leave me a couple comments on what you like to throw and what you've been catching them on. I keep looking around, and these fish are really starting to pop some of these shad around, so it makes it hard to go in, but I've got to get back. So I appreciate you guys watching. Y'all have a good one.